G2 Esports has become the team to beat in North American Rocket League. After losing the third regional of the winter split to Version1, G2 has since taken down 3 events in a row, dating back to the winter major. But just what do they do on the field that allows them to maintain this level of play? What is going on, guys? Horizon here, and today we are going to be taking a deep dive into the final game played between G2 Esports and Version1 in the grand final in the second spring regional. But before we do hop in, as always, if you guys are enjoying the content and you feel like making somebody's day today, please consider clicking that bright red subscribe button right down below this video. It really does help me out a lot more than you guys realize, and I really do appreciate it. With that all said, let's hop right on in. We are going to kick things off here with 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in regulation, and what we're first going to take a look at is just how solid G2 is at making sure they never are under sustained offensive pressure, and they're always able to get clears out of their half as fast and as effectively as possible. So we're going to see a couple of different options here that they go for, and it's all going to come down to them thinking, what situation am I in, what is the boost situation of all of my teammates, and where can I put this ball currently to get it out of our half as fast as possible. So what we're first going to see here is a situation where Atomic and Chicago have committed forward into the offensive corner, and they both have about half full boost tanks. Now, if we know anything about G2, it's that they love to maintain offensive pressure in front of the midfield line. Now, what happens sometimes in doing that is that the third man will commit a little aggressively to a challenge that they have every possibility of losing, and it forces the players who are in the offensive half already to now play retreating defense with not the best boost totals. What we'll see is exactly how G2 manages to cope with this, even when it does happen. So if we roll this forward a bit, we'll see Calm get this massive clear, and Torment is going to beat JKnaps out here on the challenge. So the situation this puts us in is JKnaps floating into the V1 corner with only 20 boost, Atomic sitting at midfield with 0, and Chicago now with 42. So Chicago, because the ball is traveling over to his side of the field, is going to be responsible to handle the next challenge. All he wants to do is make sure that whatever challenge he gets does not put the ball into an overly threatening spot, and he wants to delay enough time to allow Atomic to at least pick up 1 or 2 pads so he can be a little bit effective. So this ball is going to come across, and Chicago's immediately going to recognize that he needs to turn and challenge Beast Mode, which he does perfectly. Now, this touch from Beast Mode does work out as a pass to Calm, and it seems like there is a slight miscommunication amongst the Version1 players here, as Calm is hoping that there will be another player mid for a pass, and all the other V1 players back off because they're low boost. But the situation this puts us in now is Atomic has a bunch of space. But if we look at his teammates' boost totals, JKnaps has 0, Chicago has 1, and Atomic only has 25. So in Atomic's head, he's very quickly going to calculate, what is the best play I can make here? In this situation, the solution to that is going to be to just boom the ball away as hard as possible into open space. And the reason you want to do that is because you want to buy time for these guys to be able to get back and fill up their boost tanks. So if Atomic tries to slow play this or take this ball down on a dribble or something like that, it's very possible that Beast Mode rushes in and gets a challenge, and now Chicago and JKnaps are left to defend basically a 3-on-1 with no boost. So we'll see Atomic get this boom away, and what this does is it allows both Chicago and JKnaps time to pick up the big pads, and now with G2 fully boosted up, they can follow this clear out down the field to try to negate V1's attempts at counter clears going forward. So if we roll this forward, we'll see Atomic chase this ball down. Torment does get around him, and now we're going to see another situation very similar to the one we just watched. So if we look right here at the G2 situation, we'll see that Chicago is chilling with 6 boost, Atomic with 12, and JKnaps with 60. So again with low boost, we're going to see exactly how G2 want to handle this. Now we will see them handle this situation slightly differently, and it's all about where they're positioned on the field as this play happens. So if we stop it right here, The ball has now gone over JNap's head, so he realizes that he doesn't have a touch on the ball, so he just leaves. Which leaves Atomic in the position to go ahead and work on getting this ball out. Now, if we look at the situation that Atomic's in, it's very similar to the situation he found himself in before. The problem is that instead of being here in the middle of the field, where it's really easy to get big, booming clears, he now finds himself facing the corner, where if you smack this ball as hard as possible, all that's going to happen is it's going to go into the corner, and it's going to bounce out right to here, and Calm is going to go, sweet, thank you very much, I will come in for this challenge, and put a lot of pressure on you. And like we said, G2 wants to find ways to mitigate the pressure they're feeling as often as possible. So what's Atomic going to do in this situation? Well, he's not going to bang the ball away. Instead, he's going to take this light touch to allow himself to be able to follow this ball up. And what this does is it baits Calm into challenging this. Because Calm, from his perspective, he is first man now in V1's rotation. So he wants to come in and challenge this ball and try to keep it in this G2 corner, or at least somewhere in the G2 half. What Calm doesn't know is that Atomic has almost no boost. So Atomic has no ability to add speed to this ball to help himself get the clear. So what he's actually going to do is he's going to use the time that Calm is going to spend approaching this ball to position himself in such a way that the challenge goes up with power and speed so that one of his two teammates can follow it up to get the full clear downfield. Because Atomic's not going to be able to do all this on his own. So as we'll see, if we roll this forward, Calm comes in for the challenge, and Atomic's going to pre-flip in a position to block this touch and put it up high, which now allows JNaps to come in quickly to bang this ball downfield. And now we're going to see this same idea once more, as Torment's going to get this clear banging downfield into the G2's corner, and it's going to fall on Atomic once again to go ahead and work on getting this ball out. The problem is Atomic has 0 boost. So again, what's he going to do? He's going to find a way to add speed on the ball to enable one of his teammates to follow up the clear. So if we play this forward, Torment gets the boom. JNaps is going to pick up this 100 pad. Atomic recognizes this, so JNaps is going to jump as he picks this up to make sure he stays out of Atomic's way. Atomic is going to come in and recognize that he can't take this slow because he doesn't have the boost to maintain control. What he's going to do is he's going to try to just get this ball around Torment by hitting it as hard as possible up towards the ceiling. And by doing this, it's going to go up and roll out back towards the midfield, which will allow either JNaps or Chicago the opportunity to go up and get the ball back down into V1's half. So basically the exact same play we saw before, except instead of taking the slow touch and then using the 50, Atomic's going to use the 23 boost he has to just propel this ball up the sidewall and get it out. So he's going to bang this up the sidewall because he has the leverage to put it into space instead of into the corner, and now it allows Chicago to jump up and get this clear all the way downfield. So G2's clear game pretty much comes down to what am I able to do right now to get this ball out as fast and as safely and as effectively as possible. Whether that means booming the ball away to enable your teammates to get boost, whether that means taking a soft touch because you're facing a corner or a wall, so banging it isn't going to do you any good, and then using 50-50s to gain the ball speed to allow you guys to get the clear out, or whether it means hitting the ball into space that enables a teammate to follow up on it. There is always a way that G2 is going to figure out the most effective method to get the ball out of their half. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how G2 was able to become champions of this second spring regional, and just what went wrong for version 1 in this final play, because this felt a lot less like G2 winning this, and a lot more like version 1 losing it. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this 52 seconds into overtime, V1 on the attack, and we're going to see what happens here. So this ball is going to pop up, and now Calm is going to go up for this challenge. So I think what Calm is going for here as this ball drops from the ceiling, I think he wants to catch a flip reset on this ball as it comes down, and then use that flip to put the ball on target right as it reaches a shootable angle, which makes it really hard for JNaps to get the read in net. The problem is, though, as he goes up for this, I think he recognizes that because of his trajectory, how slow the ball is coming down, and the amount of boost he has, that that's not possible. So all he wants to do now is just get a touch to make sure that this doesn't drop right in front for a free clear. So he gets this little awkward touch, doesn't do much. Jnaps is going to come in and get the pop out. Now, where problems start for version 1 is going to be this challenge from Torment, as well as the movement of Beast Mode. Because Beast Mode has 0 boost. So he is going to be traveling to this mid boost to go ahead and pick that up. Torment needs to buy time to enable these guys to pick up boost and get back behind him, because he's got 2 G2 players bearing down on this ball, which is exactly what he does. So he gets this challenge, which is absolutely perfect. Version 1 is perfectly fine at this point. The problem is that they get a little over-aggressive in their positioning, because as Beast Mode comes back here, he picks up this boost and makes this really aggressive turn back in field. And now, it's not like he's making this turn and immediately jumping to challenge the ball. He's just driving along the midfield line. And what happens is Chicago is going to jump up for this free clear, and it's going to cause all 3 version 1 players to now have to play really awkward, retreating defense, as the entirety of G2 is just going to start bearing down on the offensive half. So we'll see Beast Mode makes this really aggressive turn in, and then he realizes that he's not going to be able to make a play, and now he makes the turn back. The problem is that he's now playing retreating defense against essentially all 3 G2 players. And if he hadn't made this aggressive turn and was back a little bit further, Chicago might have waited for this ball to come down and taken the ball down on a dribble instead of aerialing for it, or Beast Mode might have been in a better position to defend the net on shots rather than having to play this awkward jump up to the wall where he can't really gain control over much of anything because he just has to power the ball away. So I think that comes down to just Beast Mode recognizing earlier that he's not going to have a play on the ball and putting himself in a position that enables him to deal with what's going to happen next a little bit easier. So as we roll forward here, we're going to see once again another example of G2. Even though players are deep in their opponent's corner, they're going to want to do everything they can to keep this offensive pressure on. So we're going to see Jnaps make a very aggressive turn because he knows that no V1 players are up, and he's going to go up to keep this ball in the half. Immediately, Atomic turns and is going to get this next touch on the ball. So we'll see Atomic come up for this, and he's going to get this just poke up because Torment does get up to put in a challenge. The problem is going to be Beast Mode on the backboard here. So we can see with his positioning, because he's angled this way, it's going to be really difficult for him to make a full turn and go ahead and get up to the top of the backboard. I think this moment all comes down to option coverage, because it looks like he's already planning on covering a shot coming on net, rather than the possibility of needing to be higher up on the backboard to be able to help to get a clear out of the half. It's almost like he fully expects Torment to not get a touch on this ball, and he's expecting Atomic to absolutely rip one on net that he won't be able to save from any other spot, just by the angle that he approaches this on the wall. So if we look at this just right about here, he's now basically parallel with the crossbar, and this ball is in a position where if he was angled slightly better, he would be able to jump off and go get this, because 42 boost would be plenty, or he could even go off the ceiling and go get this. But instead, he kind of now, because he has to turn up and try to get to the crossbar, gets himself stuck on this corner area, and then kind of just gets stuck gliding along the crossbar, which, as all of us know from playing Rocket League, getting stuck on any part of the frame of the goal is an absolute death sentence. I don't know what the comms were like with version 1 at this point, but as soon as Beast Mode got stuck here, comms should have pretty much immediately just gone for this ball to try to relieve some pressure on Beast Mode. Because if we look at the situation that comms in, like, he's coming back, he's got 56 boost. At this point, right here, Beast Mode knows that he's caught on this crossbar. There is no shot that he is going to get on this backboard to be able to make a play on the ball. So immediately, Calm should be planning on going for this. And if he jumps now, he dusts everyone to this and it's totally fine. I don't know if there was a delay in communication, if Beast Mode was just surprised that he didn't end up on the backboard, so he kind of stuttered his words, or what happened exactly. But if there was as clear as possible communication here between Calm and Beast Mode, I think this situation is totally avoided. Because, unfortunately, Beast Mode's falling, Torment has 0 boost, and at the point that Calm doesn't go immediately, he's gonna get beat out by Atomic since Atomic's closer, and Chicago's able to come in and get that final slot. So, all in all, I think that last goal comes down to not so much G2 winning it, but more Version 1 losing it. It seems like Version 1 was tired of the boom ball, so they wanted to start an elongated stay on offense, but because they made aggressive turns, it caused them to have to play awkward retreating defense, especially once Beast Mode ran over the corner of the goal. But all in all, at this point, what can you do to stop G2? They are just an absolute monster, and continue to roll through tournament after tournament. It'll be really interesting to see just what team is able to stand up to them. A lot of teams have played them close, but no one has been able to take them down in recent history. So thank you everybody so much for watching, as I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications. If you guys have any video ideas, suggestions, anything like that, go ahead and throw those down in the comments below. As always, I look forward to checking those out. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.